All right. Greg, we've met. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you
Logan,
too.
I don't know if we've ever met in person, but it's nice to meet you if this is the first time. I've only heard good things. You two own two really awesome businesses, and we're just really happy to have you on this panel to share your insights and your experiences. Um, just to get started, I just wanted you both to introduce yourselves, just give a basic timeline of your career, how your business came to be, and what your business specializes in. So, whoever's feeling eager can go first.
Yeah, I'll dig into it, man. So my name's Logan. I'm founder and I own Rock Mill Industries, which is kind of a multifaceted music influence situation where we do studio recordings, screen printing, and embroidery. We have staging and PAs and stuff like that for doing events, and a bunch of other stuff too. We put on small events every once in a while. But I fell into it. I was touring in bands, playing music my whole life, always relying on other producers and engineers to record our records, and seemed like they were always dropping the ball. So I was like, you know what, I'll just do this myself and get into it myself. And later down the road, essentially just turned into a multifaceted thing where it wasn't just recording bands, because as a self-employed person, you don't just do one thing. You do many things. You wear many hats. For one day you might be recording bands, the next day you're out doing an event, the next day you might be screen printing someone's merchandise. So that's kind of how I fell into it, and it all kind of roots back to touring and playing music, and started there. And we've been doing it as Rock Mill for about 4 or 5 years now. It'll be 5 years this August, but I've been pretty much doing what I've been doing now for 12, 13, 14 years. So that's pretty much the stick, man. That's what we do.
So I'm Greg Barley. I own Phantom Power, which is located in Millersville. Um, Before doing that, I was at the Chameleon Club for many, many years. And after I bought the theater, I transitioned over to Telus 360 for a couple of years, getting the theater ready, and finally opened it up in February of 2020. And then 3 weeks later, I was shut down. And then in June, I was open back up. And December, I was shut back down. So it's been one heck of a way to start a business of this caliber, and it's not been easy. But I'll tell you, it's been kind of fun and exhilarating, coming up with new creative ideas around the mandates, and whenever there's roadblocks, trying to figure out a way to take a different route and still stay open. So yeah, so far it's been a fun ride, and having the event with you guys was a lot of fun too. So looking forward to more of that, and looking forward to warmer weather so we can party outside.
Yeah, I can only imagine. It's been a bumpy ride so far, and we're definitely going to dig into that later. Um, but my next question is kind of going off what Logan mentioned. You said that you were kind of sick of relying on these outside sources to do what you wanted to do. And I just wanted to ask, what made both of you want to start the business that you started, and what inspired you to keep going with it rather than just kind of trying it out and maybe not sticking with it? How did you decide that this was something that you were really ready to commit to and dig into?
For me, I don't know. I guess like when you're playing in bands, you're kind of technically self-employed anyway, so you're not, reporting to a 9 to 5 every day. So you wake up every day and you kind of make your own schedule, regardless of your level of success. And then one day, you fall in and out of bands because music comes in waves and goes up and down and stuff like that. And one day, I was in a band and I was like, well, hey, if I work for bands and work for musicians, I probably will have a little bit better of a chance succeeding, which is typically the case. And I was like, if I work as hard as I can with my own business that I did on my band, chances are I'll probably make more money, which is the case in some ways. Yeah, it's been more successful. But it's not easy, man. And it's not something that I guess really, I don't have a direct answer for this, but you just kind of have to dive head first, man. And like what I wanted to do 7 years ago isn't what I'm doing today. I mean, yes, I am recording bands, but 7 years ago when I started, like, and I moved into the location I'm into now, which is a commercial space, I would have never told you I'd be where I am today. I would have said I had a dream that kind of outlined where I am today, but by no means am I where I thought I would be. And in some ways more closer to the end goal, some ways not, you know. I don't know if that really actually answers your question, to be honest with you. So we'll let Gregg pick up on this one from there.
So I managed the Chameleon Club and bartended there as well for a long time, and loved it. It was, you know, every day is a party. It's something that I really enjoyed doing and never wanted to see it stop, to be honest. And I was very fortunate with the situations that I was, or the just kind of the opportunities I was given at the Chameleon to start off slow with local bands and then move my way up to the touring bands and start making very serious offers on very big bands. And you know, it's just a rush. And when you are able to have a job that you truly do love, it's not something you want to give up. And as time went by, I knew that I probably wouldn't be able to just stay a bartender or manage the club. And the Chameleon was struggling for quite a few years, and I you know, just got kind of scared about my future there. And when it was on sale, when it went for sale, that really started to scare me a lot. And it was very fortunate that I got linked up with the Point of View. It was a theater that I had, it's a building that I knew about. I actually went to see movies there when I was younger, and always thought it'd be a cool place to be a venue or something like that, but never ever expected it to be mine. And yeah, it was just a lot of things that just kind of fell together, and tremendously awesome luck, or so I thought. But I'm still confident with it, and yeah, it literally is a dream come true. It's everything I could possibly want, and wouldn't trade it for anything.
I would agree. Like I've seen Phantom Power really blow up in the consciousness of people in Millersville, and everybody is a huge fan of it, and everyone says it's just what we needed. Logan, you did mention that you were in bands before you started working with Rock Mill. Gregg, I'm sure you were also a musician before you got into this stuff, at least in some aspect. Am I right?
No, you're wrong.
Completely wrong?
Completely wrong. I just tell you, I was able to do it. I'm better at it. I got frustrated.
Okay, well, the next question that I had was just really open-ended. How has the COVID pandemic affected the way that your businesses operate?
Gregg, you can take this one first, man.
You might not have any time left after I'm done.
Well, that's why I told you to go first, man. I said you go first on this one.
All right, so basically, you know, February of 2020 came, and I had two artists booked that I was just over the moon about, like two of my absolute favorites. The first show was supposed to be Heartbones with Harmar Superstar. I don't know if any of you guys know who he is, but if you don't, definitely look him up and check out some of his videos. Quite possibly the best entertainer I've ever seen. Like, the guy just is a magician on stage. But after I had that show booked, and that was, you know, already planned to be the grand opening, a Canadian artist named Daniel Romano came along, and I had worked with him at TELUS before, and he's absolutely fantastic as well. So I couldn't say no to that, but he wanted a date before Harmar Superstar, so I had to make that the soft opening show. But yeah, so everything went cool with Daniel Romano, and I started hearing, you know, more and more talk of the coronavirus, but I don't think anyone really gave it much credit or thought twice about it. It was just kind of something that was happening somewhere else and not here. And when I was loading in Heartbones, Harmar had mentioned that South by Southwest was canceled because of this, and that's really when it hit home that this was something incredibly serious. And then from there, it just took over. And you know, when I found out, like, I was trying to hold on, trying to figure out how I can just keep on going, stay open, but it was having an impact on turnout. Like, people just weren't coming out even before the shutdown was enforced. And then when we got the notification that we had to close our doors for 2 weeks, I just completely lost my mind, because I had just opened 3 weeks before that, and I was like terrified I was not going to be able to pay my bills, and was going to lose the theater that I just opened, and freaking out. And then 3 months later, we're still closed. But somehow I pulled it off. Stayed open. I called every single utility, every single thing I could turn off. I turned off, and was able to just put my dukes up and weather the storm. Then we had to be outside, so luckily I was able to make an area to host bands outside, and rented some gear, and had a bunch of local acts. So that was amazing. A lot of bands were eager to play outside, and it was just fantastic. Then how did the whole timeline go? So it started getting colder, and an agent reached out to me, a comic agent, and offered me a comedian, which I was unsure if I'd want to do, but I decided to give it a shot, and it went really well. So we started getting into comedy, which was a great thing to have happen right in the fall, because it was starting to get cold, and it's difficult for bands to play music outside when it's cold. But we were able to put some burn barrels out and some kerosene heaters, and have the comics go out and tell jokes, and everyone just bundled up and came out, and it was great. Then December came, and the indoor service was shut off. That one hurt. That was 3 weeks of very difficult bills to pay, and hurdles to overcome, because we couldn't use outside. It was really, really cold. We decided to take a step back to the roots of the building, and started doing drive-in movie theaters style. Like, I had some screens that I had actually saved in my storage facility that were left over from the theater when we were renovating it, and we hung that up on the side of the building. And we have just a simple Epson projector that we started showing films, and just something to keep going. Unfortunately, it's been in the 20s, so it's been hard to sell the movies, but it's just keeping people coming in. It got me by for the 3 weeks that we were closed down. So now we're open up inside. We still have to do table seating, so I'm at about 25% right now, maybe a little less than that. But if we can keep on going like this, we'll get to summer, and then already planning the spring format for outdoors and whatnot, and it's looking good. It's looking like we're coming out of it. People are getting more confident with the vaccines rolling out, and we'll be there. You'll hear us outside again.
I miss it. I live in Brookwood, so we can always hear the bands.
Especially Big Boy Brass, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. It's you'll just be hanging out in your living room, and you hear it, and you'll see people going outside, and it's like we're moths drawn to a light.
Great.
Well, how to get to my place, please.
So yeah, we definitely all have our fingers crossed for summer. It is looking pretty good. I think it's going to be a good one.
I hope you're right.
So, Logan, how's it been through all this
So
COVID?
it's like what I said, I do a lot of different things every day. I don't do just one path or job every day. So like I said, I have three different things that I do primarily. We have the recording studio, the screen printing facility, and then we do events on the weekends and all that stuff, just kind of fill the gaps and stuff. I remember being in the studio when our president went on national television and made this announcement. I was in the middle of recording a 4-song EP with this band. It's funny, like the studio portion of it has probably been busier in the last 9 to 12 months than it's probably ever been, because all these musicians are getting unemployment and they're coming and they're like, hey, I want to, they can't play shows, they can't do anything else. So everyone's writing music and wanting to spend money on studio recording so that they have something to hit hard when they come back out. So I'm really fortunate because the studio has been doing extremely, extremely well. I'm not saying I'm over the moon and back kind of thing, but I would say that we're probably doing more than we were pre-COVID, which is really cool. The screen printing facility, that's really what Rockmill is at the end of the day. Like as far as on paper, when you look at what we are as a business, Rockmill Studio is a subsidiary of Rockmill Industries. So it's a partner or a piece of the puzzle underneath the umbrella of Rockmill Industries. But really the screen printing facility is where we have 4 or 5 employees that work in back of house that help do production on garments and items that we provide to bands and businesses and nonprofits and stuff like that. That really took a hit because no one was touring, no one was open, businesses weren't open to buy shirts. People like Gregg who have, venues aren't buying shirts to put on their staff members because their staff isn't working. And even if they are, who knows how much or how well they're doing because, they don't have enough to expense and to share the love kind of thing. So the screen printing thing has been weird because that's where like Rockmill really puts food on other people's plates. It's not just, me and the other 2 owners that are a part of Rockmill. It's myself, the other 2 owners, and then our employees underneath of us. So it's been really tough on them, but everyone's surviving and we're getting through it together. Fortunately, like there's all those assistance programs out there with unemployment and PUA and the SBA loans and all that stuff. So all of the guys that at least work for us were lucky and able to find some kind of avenue that worked for them, and made them survive. As of now, we have 2 guys of 6 guys total back, which is good. So, we're doing good. We're able to at least afford to bring on other people. And then we have the events thing, which is a lot, related to what Gregg's doing. Gregg has a physical location that is his and he has people come to. I'm more so the guy who, if so-and-so needs to put on an event or they need a PA system or a screen or something at a church or a conference or a rock show, they call us for that kind of stuff too. So that really took a hit. And that's a lot of what I was doing at this time last year. Not so much studio stuff. The screen printing thing is something I always will do. But the studio stuff wasn't super, super busy, but the events were like killing. Like it seemed like every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, we were out doing events. Even in the winter, it was really good too. But then COVID happened and it was like hitting a brick wall. And I think we've done maybe 10 to 15 events in the last year now, which is not much compared to what we were doing by any means. So, so it's weird how like, and it comes back to like what I was saying at the beginning of the meeting, where like every day as a self-employed person, you're doing something different to crack the nut, and like Gregg said, he's getting creative and, they're putting up screens or doing outdoor events and, and that's the same thing as we're doing. It's just a little bit different of an avenue. We've did some fundraisers and stuff like that to, like because we have a screen printing facility and an embroidery facility, we were able to put together some merch packages for our friends and family and clients to buy, which was really cool. So it's like we were kind of raising money and asking for donations, but without asking for donations and like selling a t-shirt. So that was cool. It was really cool to get everyone together, and we were going to put this big like live streaming event together within like the first 3 or 4 weeks of all this happening. And as soon as we got like the footprint down for this whole thing, we're like, all right, we're going to have this many bands. We're going to do people in the rehearsal space downstairs, and we're going to do people in the studio, and we're going to have it all switching and do interviews in between. It was going to be this really cool like conglomerate live stream event that at that time wasn't a popular thing. And all of a sudden things got shut down again, where it was like another brick wall. So it's weird. It's been a weird experience, but we over here at Rockmill have been extremely, extremely fortunate to be where we are now. You know, there has been an ebb and a flow, you know, ups and downs with certain parts of what we do. The screen printing was on its way to be 2 to 3 times what it was in 2019, in relation to 2020. And we were on our way with the first 2 months, and then all of a sudden we hit a brick wall. But with that being said, we still did just as well as we did in 2019 that we did in 2020. So I can't complain. I'm really lucky. I know a lot of businesses have closed their doors and shut things down. And that sucks, but we are really lucky over here, and I'm very fortunate because of that. And so is everyone that works for us and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, every day is different. It really is.
It sounds like you have a really positive outlook, both Logan and Gregg, despite all of these challenges being thrown in your face this entire past year. I mean, the music industry, one could argue, might have been the industry hit hardest by this pandemic. And even just us students have had a hard enough time getting through, you know, keeping our mental health up to par and staying positive. So I just wanted to ask, like, what kinds of changes or habits did you have to build in order to keep your head up and keep going through all of these challenges?
Well, for me, like I mentioned, we went outside in the beginning of June when we were able to open up again, and it was with a lot of uncertainty because we were not prepared to operate the way we had to operate. And when I was installing the PA equipment and everything like that, I had a band called Nielsen Family Band. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them. They're from the area. But one of the members had a kegerator that he offered to me. And this was in probably January. So this was before coronavirus was a thing. And you know, he just kind of was like, hey man, I want to help you out. I have this old kegerator. Do you want it? And it was just kind of one of those like, thanks. I don't know if I really want an old kegerator here in my new venue, you know, and just kind of, you know, let it sit. And then all this came about and fell apart, and we got thinking about how we're going to operate. And I was like, I wonder if Rob still has that kegerator. And lucky enough, he did. And it was a 6-tap kegerator. So we loaded up this old, it's terrible looking. The doors don't close, but it works. So we just dropped it out in the back of the building, and we operated out with a kegerator and a slushy machine all summer long. And it worked. It really worked. So it was just a series of small victories that kept the hope alive that you can keep on going. You know, just when you think that the world's got the best of you, you find like this little glimmer of light that you can dig your way out of that hole and you know, keep on going. So yeah, we were able to operate like that, and the community really was incredibly supportive. Like, people were just walking up. It was a lot of Millersville residents that were just excited to have something to do in the weekends, and you know, I wanted to be welcoming to the adults of the area. Like just, I didn't want to be pegged as a kid bar, and I wasn't really sure how I was going to do that, but it kind of got figured out for me. So, you know, it was nice to make that early connection with the community and let them know that it is a place that they're welcome and that they can have a good time with the kids as well. So, that was pretty awesome. And they, you know, always had my back. They were bringing in extra tables that they were getting rid of, chairs, something I desperately needed, because for us to operate, we had to provide seating and chairs for all the customers. So when we had bigger events, we literally were running out of seats that we had to turn people away or have them go sit on the grass or do something. So it just little things like that just kept on going, and it let us know that we were going to be all right, at least through the summertime.
Cool. Logan, anything to add to that?
Yeah, so I mean, not too many changes here. The biggest thing in our building has really just been like the mask policy, which has been a new norm for all of us. Some people are totally cool and abide by it. Some don't. Some are kind of a pain in the ass with it. Oops, sorry. But no, really, like we've always been appointment only. So like the whole, like we kind of went public with being appointment only after the whole COVID thing happened. But as far as people coming into our building, it's always kind of been the same. Like front doors typically always locked unless we know what you're coming. It just with COVID, it actually kind of made that easier because people respect the fact that like we're just not a business that has their doors open like Target, where you can just walk in at, you know, as long as they're open. They have a 9 to 5 or whatever their hours are, 9 to 9, I guess it is. So it's a lot different than that here at Rockmill. Everything's always been appointment only. So really there hasn't been that many changes other than the stuff that we're all going through on a daily, grind.
Great. I have another question here for you. I know there have been a lot of like changes in the way that we're consuming music, in the way that quote unquote live events are happening, a lot of virtual events going on, and a lot of technology that's come into the mainstream because of COVID. And I just wanted to ask, like, are there any silver linings that you're seeing here as far as like the technology goes, or as far as like in the future these virtual events may be sticking around, or what kind of technologies do you think are going to stick around in the future that happened because of COVID?
The whole live stream thing is super cool. I think there is a sense of fulfillment that comes out of that you do get from actually going to an event. I don't think it replaces it by any means, but I think there's a percentage of it that does compare. I would say, like, kind of backtracking to the last question, that like that's probably the biggest change we made is from rather than going out and doing events, we have a live streaming setup here in our facility now. And it's been really cool. I remember the first one that we did, I would say it was maybe June-ish of last year. It was really cool. We like stringed a bunch of stuff together because we've never actually done it on the caliber of what people are doing it now. And we stringed a bunch of stuff together. And I remember like being in the middle of the first live stream that we did for this one band, and thinking to myself like, oh, this is cool. Like I am getting that fulfillment that I get out of mixing a band at a concert or going to see a concert. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not everything. It's not the whole scale of what you would normally get at a venue or at a show by any means, but it is cool. The silver lining, I guess the silver lining is very small. The fact that music is still happening is cool. And I think the fact that as many musicians soaked that up and flipped it into something really cool is unique. I mean, there's this sense of camaraderie that wasn't there before for musicians. Like everyone was already struggling because to be a musician is struggle. It's not easy to be a musician, but now it's like everyone's even more in the same boat than they were before. So like the sense of camaraderie has been incredible. That's the coolest part of it. So it seems like everyone is on the same page. It sucks like no one's playing shows, but I guess we're all in it together. So
I was gonna say that is such a like thing that I've noticed is like everyone's on the same playing field. Like Ariana Grande's not playing shows, like Big Fat Meanie's not playing shows. It's like it doesn't even matter what caliber you're at in the music industry, you're all the same. And it's like it's just so crazy to step back and think like you can actually think about yourself as like, I'm going through the same thing as Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande as a musician. Wow. And like, but that's so real. And like how Taylor Swift was just like, I guess I'll just record 2 albums because I have nothing better to do. Like a lot of people did that as well, And the sad part about that is like, I think people go in and record their albums and then they want to like promote it and tour. You know what I mean? That's like the revenue of this industry is like touring and tickets and all that stuff. So we lose out on that. But like when it comes to the music streaming or people wanting to write and record more, like that's all there. And it does feel like this, like we're all in it together kind of thing. We're like suffering, but we're together. So it's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad you said that, because that's definitely how I've looked at it. It's almost been like a positive thing. I could like see myself as an actual like person in the industry. Like I was like, oh my, I relate to somebody that is like could sell out, you know, the Wembley Arena. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, and the other thing that's kind of cool is like we've done some streams, and like anyone can book us for a stream. It doesn't matter if your level of involvement in the music industry. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out. We had a band that we do a band every month that does really well. They generate a decent amount of income, and then we do the opposite of that, where this band like recorded an EP. They wanted to do a live stream. They're very low on the totem pole. They just literally started out. And it was really cool. Like they did their CD release. Like I recorded their EP, and they were like, let's do like a live event because no one can play shows. And this was in October. And it was really cool because like at one point they had like 350 people watching their live stream. And like, we all know that a band that's playing their first show isn't going to bring 350 people into a room. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it happens. Greg, you know, man. I mean, it's tough to get people in a room sometimes. So that's probably the only really cool thing about the live stream. I mean, you don't get the full effect of the sound hitting you, the light show hitting you, the rock and roll vibe of something happening on stage, but you can potentially get in. I mean, social media is the perfect example for all that. And you know, bands can be huge and never have played a show before because of social media. Live streaming being a mainstream thing now is really just giving that more. So it's pretty cool. Like that's the cool thing. There's the silver lining there. So
Definitely agree. I've been loving the live shows. Ani says those live stream chats are popping. I agree. It's really nice to be able to like sit in your living room and like hang out with your friends and kind of do what you want to do while you're watching a live show. Greg, I'd love to know your thoughts on these live streams and anything else from COVID that you're planning to take into the future.
My thoughts on live stream are I hate them. I just don't like anything about it. It's just not the same. It doesn't ring your ears. Watching a computer screen, I mean, I think I like having outlets like a YouTube or something like that where you can get a idea of what a band sounds like. You can understand it, but it's just nothing about it replaces the energy, the camaraderie, like when you're seeing people you know, and the goosebumps you get that when that band starts playing a song that you love, and you know, it's just hitting you in the face so hard and your ears just can't take it anymore. There's just no replacing that experience with a live stream. But it's that being said, I do see the relevance in that, and it is important that it's there, that people that aren't comfortable with going out or aren't able to go out are still able to take in that show. But yeah, I've just never, we did a couple things with live stream, but it just never really did that well. And you know, that's cool that band got 300 and some people watching them. That's not easy. I don't know. They must have a pretty good mailing list that they hit up. But you know, it's just kind of depressing when you click on a live stream that's out. Like if you get a notification that, you know, so-and-so is going live, and you click on and there's like 6 people watching. It's like, oh, I feel, you know, you just kind of feel bad for it. I wish they wouldn't list like how many people are watching, because I feel like it's kind of embarrassment to the band, and you know, then you feel kind of awkward, like being one of 6 people in there. You feel like you're kind of on spot, and then if they see you, they're like, oh, hey, what's going on? Nice to, you want to hear a song, and then you're like kind of stuck there. but but no, I do feel that it will stay around for quite some time, but it's just not something that I really have any desire to invest a lot of money into at this point. You know, that could change down the road if things don't get corrected, but I certainly hope that we're all able to go back and be side by side watching these shows, and you know, buying the merch from the bands, and meeting new people and seeing the fashion and just all the things that kind of get encompassed into a show. And you know, seeing that drunk guy or girl like making a goof out of themselves, and you know, there's just so many fun and memorable things that you can't take away from a live stream that you do at a live show. And the excitement of like just, you know, buying a ticket and traveling to the event is you know, it's just like a vacation or just a really special experience. But anyway, yeah, so technology that we've learned, I never thought we were going to be a drive-in movie theater. So it does seem to get people excited. They might not all be coming out for it, but I think that's something that's going to really be awesome in the summertime, because you know, it's something that we could open up so that people can just sit outside and enjoy it as well. We work with a local production company called Heebie Jeebie. They produce like their own sort of like horror film type thing, and it was really well done, and that sold out. We also aired Rocky Horror Picture Show around Halloween, which also did fantastic. So there's definitely a market for that, and we're going to continue pursuing that, because I think that it's going to just help us get some more people out that might not be into seeing live music or whatever, just have different interests, and maybe be able to attract them with the right movie or something like that. We've learned how to utilize our outdoor space a lot better, and once we're able to have people all together again, like the way it used to be, we've got some really big ideas that we can make something crazy happen, really crazy. So keep an eye out for that, hopefully.
Oh, that's super exciting, Greg. And I think what's cool about what you're doing is like, you're just staying relevant. Like, you're like, guys, we're here. Like, you're still posting on social media, you're still having events. And like you said, whether people are coming out or not, like, it's in people's minds that Phantom Power is a venue, and we're going to come back with live music and open up fully. And like, I think that's what is super important about all of this, is like, it's not like you're somewhere that people like forgot about or is off their radar. It's like you're just adapting until you can get full blown, and that is exciting to like anticipate.
Thank you.
Yeah, and like going back to the live streaming thing, I do very much agree with you. It is not the same, even from a performance perspective, because if anyone like has done like any kind of performance, I'm just going to talk about like the commercial shows that we have at Millersville. It is so like, it is not as fun as it used to be to perform at those, because like fall semester of last year, like we had that commercial show had like everyone at the front of the stage, all the audience was just really excited to be there. And then this last semester, it was like 10 people in the audience, and they were all sitting down far away. They had to be social distance, and it was not the same.
Yeah, no cool stories are going to start with, hey, remember that time we were live streaming that show? And just no, that's not going to be a cool story.
I definitely agree. Like, it's hard to like watch a live stream and be passionate about it because you're not there. And it's just kind of like you're watching it. You're like, okay, you know what I mean? So, and I'm kind of segueing into a question. I know we just talked about like keeping a positive attitude and stuff. How did you guys, like, was there ever a time that you struggled to stay motivated?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all go through that on a daily thing, you know. I think that's like a normal thing for everyone to deal with, is being motivated. I know for like the first, so I only live like 350 feet up the street away from our location, so I'm really close to the building. When they were like, we're shutting everything down, no one's going to work, I'm like, screw that, like I'm walking to work, I'm gonna do something. But there was like 2 or 3 days where I was like, oh, I'll stay home, like hang out with the wife. I like played Guitar Hero for the first time in like 10 years, and then I got the shits of it. And then like I took the time and like started kind of like doing things around the shop that I felt like needed to be done. Like I renovated the bathroom. I was like painting out back in the warehouse, and I don't know, I've always been a motivated person. I was in like a really bad car accident about 11 years ago, and lost my right leg from it. So like I've already kind of dealt with like the extreme down of something and picked back up from it. So it really wasn't anything harder or different than I did before, because I've already surpassed and succeeded over something that is very difficult for not only me but my family and my friends and stuff like that. So I kind of knew, and part of the reason what I started doing this was to keep me busy. You know, I played in bands and stuff like that, so recording music was just a way for me to keep my mind busy from when I was after my car accident and stuff like that. So motivation, it's something that, like I said, comes on a day-to-day basis. You know, some days are better than others. And I think we all have our extreme highs and our extreme lows. But for me, I was able to surpass it. Don't get me wrong, there's still days that are still rough, and we're a year into this thing. And even today I felt like I had a slow day, and I was like, man, like I went home for lunch and my wife was like, hey, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm just bored. I feel like I don't have anything going on today. And then I came back into work and the print guys showed up, and all of a sudden everything was back to normal. So very lucky to be surrounded by positive, cool people here. So
for me, I'm very fortunate that I don't struggle with depression or anything like that. So typically I am able to look at the bright side of things. This year definitely put that to the test. And like I said, the first shutdown with for 2 weeks that in the beginning, I was losing my mind. I really was. I was tossing and turning at night. I couldn't sleep. My mind was my own worst enemy. And it was really difficult for me to address that, because I've never felt that feeling really before. And, you know, this is my first endeavor into, you know, self-employment and things like that. And everything is on my shoulders. Like I took a lien on my house. I like the whole loan is on me. So it's not like I have all these investors that are, you know, kind of like wealthy people trying to help me out. It's just like, I've got everything on the line. I got to make this work. And yeah, it was really, really hard to come to terms with that in the beginning. And then as time stretched on, I just sort of looked at it like, there's nothing I can do. I cannot change this fate. So if I'm going down, everyone else is going down too. The banks are just going to have to figure out how to operate all these barbershops, music venues, you know, clothing stores, whatever. Like if they have to repossess all these businesses, then, you know, I'm just going to be one of a whole lot that they're taking back. But fortunately it didn't come to that. But yeah, no, it really was a very emotional roller coaster for me. But, you know, typically I'm able to bounce back pretty well. And, you know, the support from everyone really, really helps a lot. And, you know, just seeing people come out and getting bands to play and people buying gift cards for other people and kind of making a game out of it. Like it just really like makes you feel good. And you know, I know there's a lot of people that are there for me to support and help out and are anxious for better days to come. So it's cool.
Those were really good answers.
Yeah, I'm like getting goosebumps, you know? It's very inspiring for someone in such a precarious situation to have made it this far and not just gotten through, but actually expanding into other areas and really becoming more than what the Phantom Power was even really originally intended to be. And I think there's so much potential there. Obviously, you've already exploited so much potential, and I'm really excited for that crazy stuff you were talking about doing when we can have live events again. That's very intriguing. I'm going to be keeping an eye on that for sure.
You'll hear it, trust me.
Do you have, oh, sorry, Michael. Greg, do you have are you booking for outside shows and stuff for this? Like, are you lining that up?
Yeah, I'm starting to. I've actually been putting together the St. Patty's Day segment of Hopefully Outdoor. So ready for some craziness to happen there. So hopefully March is mild. Let's just keep our fingers crossed for that, because yeah, some of the bands I have booked they're going to be fun, and there's going to be a lot of craziness happening.
Yeah, we would love.
As long as we don't get shut down again. No shutdowns, no more.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
Because that was another really devastating blow. A day or two before Thanksgiving Eve, that's literally the biggest bar night of the year, and when we got closed down for that, it was just so frustrating.
I just wanted to open up a section of the meeting for anybody who wanted to ask questions, sort of a Q&A section. So anybody who has a question that they want to ask either Gregg or Logan, feel free. You can either unmute or just type it in the chat. We'll give it a little bit in case people are typing.
I just wanted to say it's great to see you, Greg, and to hear your story, especially so many years later, of everything that you've done. It's really awesome, and I can't wait to talk to you more.
No, I look forward
I have ideas
to it.
too.
I really enjoyed that time that I was able to come into your class and speak to your class. That was a lot of fun. I think about that often.
We should do that again.
Got plenty of time. Logan, what with your screen printing and your merch side of things, what all do you produce?
Dude, I mean, pretty much anything that you can wear. Screen printing, so t-shirts, tank tops, sweatshirts, you know, that whole nine, polos. And as far as embroidery goes, I mean, we do tote bags too, lanyards. I mean, that's all screen printing stuff. And then embroidery is like beanies, polos, trucker hats, you know, anything that would need to get stitched, and then also doing the vinyl and like stickers and stuff. So like window decals or little die cut stickers and all that kind of stuff. So
are you doing socks as well?
We've done socks. Yeah, we have done socks, and we've only done them once. They came out great. I don't know how they sold for the band though. It was so weird. The one band hit me up. They're like, dude, we want to do socks. I'm like, God, that's weird, man. That is out there.
No, it's different. I kind of want to do that. I'm gonna send you a message and get some pricing from you. I'm interested in checking some of your products out.
Cool,
so
man. Yeah, I'd love to work with you guys, man.
Everyone should be wearing Phantom Power shirts. You know, it's a bummer they're not. So I got to make that happen.
That's what we're doing right now, man. Our goal in 2021, sorry, Jesus, I'm still living in last year. 2021 is to try and get as many people that we know and people that buy our product to wear Rockmill merch, whether it's, you know, a hat or a beanie or a t-shirt or a sweatshirt or something like that, just something that says the Rock Mill name, so I can relate to you on that, man. And I'd be willing to make you like not to like do a sales pitch on this meeting by any means, but anything that you need, man, I'd love to give you the best pricing I can so that you guys can do the same thing.
No, I'll be in touch. We'll try and knock something out. So
yeah, man.
And then even the team, they want shirts too. So we'll get something figured out.
Cool, man. Yeah, you're in like Lebanon, Lancaster area, right? Like Millersville area.
Yeah, I live in Lancaster City, so
cool. Yeah, we're typically down there, man, doing deliveries maybe once every 7 to 10 days, at least. So it's not like we're that far away from here. We're up in Mechanicsburg, but we do a lot of bands from the area, a lot of businesses down there. We probably all know the same people and work with the same people, so
most likely.
Yeah, most likely. But yeah, man, I've heard nothing but good things about you. Not to sit here and praise you, but I had one of my buddies hit me up like this probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he goes, "Hey, have you heard of this Phantom Power place down in Lancaster area?" And I was like, "Dude, I've heard nothing but good things. I know Gregg from when he was booking at Chameleon, and he always treated my band well, and so on and so forth." So it's all good stuff, man. All positive. So.
Cool. Good. Well, thank you. I try not to make enemies. It's always,
dude,
brother.
I'm the same way, brother. I'm the same way. There's no enemies. I mean, you can disagree with somebody, but I mean, you push someone away, that's less business in your door at the end of the day, man. So
yeah, 2 friends are always better than 1 enemy,
That's
this
right.
is a really small town.
I was also thinking that.
Yeah, Logan, you should have told me that you wanted people to wear your Rock Mill merch. I have one of your shirts.
Oh, dude, and if any of you guys want anything, just shoot me an email. And all you have to do is pay for shipping, or you're welcome to stop by our shop and pick something up. We're literally just quite literally giving everything away, just to get it on people and to get the brand out there, and to spread the good love, whatever it is, however you want to put it. We're literally just trying to put the name out there as much as we can. We have a bunch of stuff we printed, within the last 6 months to a year. Some of it's back stock, some of it's just been kind of hanging out. So I'll put my email in the chat here. This is the first time I've ever done this, so forgive me.
And I can say they're very nice shirts.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Kind of my thought process with the socks is when we have bigger touring bands to give that to the bands, because a t-shirt's one thing, but I feel like a t-shirt's a little bit more, I don't know, disposable, if you will, especially if you don't really have a connection to the t-shirt or whatever. But socks are a different story. I think if you got a pair of socks, you're going to wear them. And it's one of those subtle things where if people notice something different about your socks, they're going to look a little closer at them. Mm-hmm. And especially if, you're on stage and you're at the front row, you're looking right at their socks anyway. So
do you think do you think they're going to look at the socks closer versus like the t-shirt?
I think that there's a better chance of the bands wearing and keeping the shirt or the socks versus the shirt.
No, I know, I'm kidding. It was just a bad joke.
That's sorry. Okay. I tell many bad jokes, but I usually start ripping on people, but I'm trying to change my ways with that, because sometimes I pick on people too much. But look out, Ani, I'm going to come for you.
Also, in my experience, if I notice someone wearing like really cool socks, I'm like, those are awesome. Where did you get them?
I know, yeah, so many people just love fun socks. Like, that's just the thing.
Sounds like Logan's got his work cut out for him.
Yeah, man, I'm your guy.
Don't blow it, dude.
Yeah, it's funny, man. Like the socks thing, like it's so true with what you're saying. People will hold on to that, and they'll probably want something like that for a longer period of time. And with the shirts, man, people are getting shirts every day. Think how many shirts you have in your closet that you don't wear. And we're all guilty of it. I know I am. I got shirts that I've printed, and I think I wore them once, and they're just sitting there. But like when someone gives you like a sock or a lot of the times like a hat or a beanie, you feel like you want to wear that more. At least from my experience. Another thing that we've been doing a lot of, kind of going back to like the changes that we've had to make as a business is related to the screen printing is the masks. We've been doing a lot of masks. We have businesses and bands hitting us up doing masks, and I think it's cool. It's a big change we had to make. We had to invest a little bit of money to get the system to be able to pull that off. but they look cool. They sell well. I would say at this point we've definitely put ourselves in the positive from that investment, but that's definitely been a big change. I mean, it was a big learning curve. We had to learn how to be able to print on a different style of material than we've ever printed on before. Yeah, it's cotton. It's the same thing as a t-shirt. But some of them are stretchy. Some of them have a seam down the middle. The options are ridiculous at this point. But we're able to print on them. So that's a big change we've made.
So you got socks, you got shirts. Gregg, we got movies, screening. How else can we support your businesses, at least until the vaccine rollout is done? What can we do to help you guys out, help keep you afloat, make sure you can do cool things in the future?
For us, I guess, you know, if you could like us on social media, that's a big help. If you see an event, share it, tell people. You know, if you see something you think a friend might be into, tell them about it, because that's, you know, it's amazing how much of a difference even a couple people make in this environment right now. Like, you know, if we have 3 more people, that could be 30, 40 more dollars that we're taking in that we wouldn't otherwise have. And it might not sound like a lot in the grand scheme of things, but some days it really is. And, you know, if they have a good time, maybe they'll tell someone else and it'll just build from there. So it's, you know, just kind of making things aware, and if you see something that's cool, maybe try and get some people to come out and attend or whatever. And if you're buying a gift, and not just for us, but other local businesses, like everyone's struggling. Well, you know, kind of like we said, like making the comparison with Taylor Swift, but you know, Taylor Swift is, her end game is, you know, if she never tours again, she's going to be just fine. But you know, a lot of the smaller bands that Logan works with that you know are going to be playing my room on the regular basis, those guys, they don't have that luxury. They have to figure something out. They have to get out. But same is kind of true for local businesses, you know, like Barbacoa, Jack's, you know, support those guys. Don't go to the Sheets. Don't go to the Domino's and things like that, even though it might be easier. You got House of Pizza and you got Sugar Bowl. But, you know, gift cards are always huge, and try not to use them right away. But yeah, no, whatever you know, like, just you know, like, show the support that you possibly can for whatever you're into. You know, that's the best way you can help.
Yeah, I would say that, like, you know, with touching off what Gregg said, you know, supporting local is more important now than it's ever been. The one thing that's cool, and I think more so, not to make this a political thing at all, now that the election has kind of came and gone and we're moving forward as a country and individuals and stuff like that, that there is hopefully going to be this sense of camaraderie again that has felt kind of lost for the last couple months. So I think that, like, you know, the idea of supporting local should be more important than it's ever been. There's a lot of businesses out there that are struggling. I have a lot of friends and a lot of buddies who all run small businesses that, you know, had some hard times and fell on some hard times. One of my good friends has a honeybee company, or a honeybee business, where he, you know, 5 years ago he had maybe 25, 30 hives. Now he has 350 hives. So he has grown his business a lot. But he's on the other end of things, that, like, you know, than the music industry. He's considered agricultural. So he's able to, you know, still be open and still sell, even though that honey is really a more so a novelty item than a necessity. At least on paper it is, but to some people it's a necessity. It's food. You can live off of it. But people like that need our support more than ever. You know, there are people that are still sweating it out. So doesn't matter your level of business, just support someone that's local, and don't go to Sheets, like Gregg said. Don't go to, you know, Pizza Hut. Support the guy down the street, you know. Yeah.
One thing on the camaraderie thing that I found to be really cool, especially early on in the shutdown, was the agents, like the music agents, the band's agents. Like a lot of times they can be pretty rough on you. Like if you're trying to book a band, they they try to squeeze as much money out of you. They try to take advantage of you sometimes. Not everyone, but it's a really slippery slope if you try to book a band that you're not aware of what they're capable of drawing, and you pay too much for the band, because it can really put you in a bad spot quickly. So it was kind of cool, like seeing the compassion that they were showing for people that are trying to book bands and venues and things like that, because they couldn't, they had to adjust the way they operated too, and a lot of them have converted to a door deal situation where it's based on a percentage of sales. So if you would do if you would set it up for the door deal, it would be like a percentage of, like, say 75% of whatever you sell. So that it gives me, as someone that's buying a band, a security to know that I'm not going to lose money on a show. You know, so it's they're sharing the risk with a lot of the venues, and it's really awesome to see that. It never happened before, really, and so hopefully this will continue on. But I'm already starting to see some agents that are seeing the end of, you know, the end of the shutdown, and they're going to try to get more money. But it's been really cool, like talking with them, and they 100% get how fragile the venues are right now. So yeah, it's been good.
Did that shock you at first, Gregg, when the agents were acting like that? Because that just like really rubs me the wrong way. I don't like to hear that, especially because kind of like what Logan was saying, like the industry is one of, like, the live music industry is one of the industries that hurts so bad from this. So
right. Well, what I'm talking about before, it's more before
Okay.
the shutdown. Like, you know, the agent's job is to get as much money for their band as they can, and I get it. But you know, it is difficult that somebody would be like, oh, I know they're not worth this many people, but if this guy's going to pay me for them, I'm just going to try and get it. You know, it's like, "Argh." But no, now it's been a lot cooler, and you know, it's a lot easier to just, if an agent doesn't want to work with you, to just simply pass on the show. And you know, I can't afford that. Good luck, you know, with another venue. And you know, I'm fine with that. It's not as much of a fear of missing out situation anymore, because I'm not so interested in taking a chance for a middle of the road band, you know, a band that might do 75 people, or they might do 200 people. Like, those bands are really hard to pin down, like how many people are actually going to show up for the show. And now when you add in added fears, it definitely increases your risk. So if the band's not willing to share that risk with you, then it's probably better to just let them find another room that has more confidence, or has a history with the band, that they know that they're going to get a certain amount of people.
Speaking of booking, we did have a question in the chat earlier. Emmett asked if you have DJs at Phantom Power.
Yes and no. We have a down tempo, like electronic DJ that we've been booking, but it's difficult right now, because when you have a DJ, that typically means that it's going to be the upbeat, like high BPMs, and everyone wants to dance, and then you know, it just goes down the wrong road for what we're dealing with right now. So you know, the down tempo chill vibe stuff has worked pretty well for that, but it's really hard right now to try and book like a traditional, like top 40 or party DJ, because it's just not cool to like have to sit in your chair and listen to the beats going by.
Yeah, I completely understand that. Hopefully when COVID stops, we can
Yeah, no, I'd love to. I started having some DJs for like when we first opened up, before there were any restrictions, and it really seemed like it was going to go in the right direction, and then it just got stopped immediately.
Yeah. Like I kind of started like getting into DJing like just as COVID kind of started, like performing my own stuff. So yeah, just
Very cool.
But yeah.
Yeah, shoot us a message, and maybe in the summertime we can have like a night or something like that, and try and work it in. Like,
That'd be awesome.
I don't know, it's a little bit easier outside. What style of music are you spinning?
Mainly just like a mix between like dubstep or just like it's all the high tempo stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We've booked Emmett before at Tellus, and he was awesome. Really awesome. I can vouch. He puts on a good set for sure.
Good. Michael, is your band intact right now? Are you guys all in the area?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're all students. We all go to Millersville. We still get together. We don't have much incentive to rehearse or anything because we haven't had many shows, but as soon as we're able to play live again, that's the move. For now, we've just kind of been writing, playing some covers to put on Instagram and stuff like that. But we're definitely eager for live shows to start.
Shoot me a link, and love to check it out. And if you guys are down for playing, I'll make it happen.
Absolutely, yeah. We really love doing the show that we put on right near the beginning of the semester, the one that was outside.
Yep.
And yeah, we're just so ready to get back into that again. That was a blast. I only had one more question for you guys before you get going. I'm sure there are a lot of people here in this meeting that are looking for internships. I understand there's probably not much need right now for any sort of intern or volunteer help. But if the need does arise, where should we contact you? How should we go about inquiring about that for when shows start up again? And the same for you, Logan, at Rock Mill. If you're looking for any kind of help, where should we go to contact you about that?
I dropped my email in the chat. I can gladly do it again. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me. Unfortunately, we're not really taking many interns right now, just because of not really any, just because of everything that's been going on. But yeah, I mean, when events pick back up, that's where we can really use an extra hand, and that's a good way to get your foot in the door, because honestly, that's not to put everyone through the ringer, but like, doing events isn't an easy stick. It's something that it's exhausting. It's late nights, it's long days. And if you can stick that out, you can pretty much stick anything here we do out, at least in my opinion. And that's where I started, and that's where I got my footprint with, mixing and doing audio and stuff like that. It's where I made all my connections. You get to kind of be face to face with a lot of people and actually like have a conversation with someone. But until events really pick back up, we're not currently accepting, but shoot me an email, maybe something will work out. I'm presuming most of you go to all Millersville, right? Is that shaking heads? Okay, judging by that. Okay, yeah. So unfortunately, we're in Mechanicsburg, so that's about 40-ish minutes from you guys. A little bit of a hike, but if you're willing to make the hike and you're dedicated and you think we have something that works for you and something that we can offer you and it works mutually for both of us, then we're definitely into entertaining it. We do a lot here. There's a lot to get involved in. But like I said, shoot me an email, and if you're interested, we can try and work something out.
Yeah, as someone that lives in Mechanicsburg, it is a bit of a hike. But, yeah. Hey, I also live in Mechanicsburg, so I might reach out to you later, Logan. Just
cool.
Yeah, I guess for us, probably just message the Phantom Power. Hit us there. Myself and my general manager Shannon. She's she's very active on there, and you know, we're really excited to have students in there, and you know, just get it going, and have everyone hands on, learning how concerts operate, and you know, getting a taste for how the bigger acts operate. You know, like I'm sure that it's cool to learn on in class and things like that, but I have a feeling that it's a different situation in reality. You know, just dealing with the bands, the drama, the grocery shopping for them, loading them in, just seeing how the day starts and ends. You know, so many people go to a concert and you know, they show up when doors open, and they don't really realize how much effort is put into getting that band set up and fine tuning every aspect of their sound, and you know, how much equipment you've loaded in and carried and hauled around, like lifted up, and how exciting they were to work with, or how annoying they were to work with. It's every day is a new adventure for sure. But yeah, we're really stoked to get back to that, though. Good days or bad days, they were still awesome days.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna be you're both gonna be getting some emails after this is over. I'm sure. That's all the questions we had for you tonight. Thank you both so much, Gregg and Logan, for coming in and doing this, answering our questions. Your answers were amazing. I learned so much. I'm feeling really inspired by your perseverance through all of this COVID madness. And yeah, just thank you both so much for coming and making these connections. It was awesome.